Welcome to Money Now, the podcast that's going to win you some money, maybe. We're not sure. Right now, we are looking pretty rough. This last week, things did not look great for us in some of our bowl picks. We took a hard beat with the Texas A&M game. Could have done a little better for us. They gave us one more field goal. Would have been right there. Also, completely called the Oklahoma LSU game wrong because, my goodness, LSU throttled Oklahoma. I mean, they beat the mess out of them. We did get the Penn State game right over Memphis. We also got Notre Dame right over Iowa State. And speaking of Iowa, Iowa also beat USC for us, keeping us correct at that. But then we did also have some unfortunate losses with other teams like Air Force beating the mess out of Washington State. And let's also talk about North Carolina just really whipping ass against Temple. That was not something that we had called. But we got the Pittsburgh Eastern Michigan game, right? Correct? Did we get that right? 'Cause I think
yes, we did. Eastern Michigan saved our lives. People.
They covered that spread there, but Miami – well,
what happened to Miami, man?
Well, they didn't even score.
Dumpster fire, man. And that's why the offensive coordinator got fired, because we lost money and we made the phone call and your ass is grass.
All right. Well, we're getting people fired because we're losing money. Hopefully there's one more game that's still –
I mean, we had let our intern go, man. And he was crying, dude. You know? Thank you, Miami.
We have one more game. We have one more game that is currently underway right now where Ohio State is moving down the field against Clemson. We do have Clemson in this one, but already Ohio State on to a good start. First play, a pass for 9 yards. So they are at least looking good as of right now, but we'll see what happens. They probably will at least be a little underway by the time we're done with this podcast. We can let you know if things are looking good for us or not. But we don't know our final tallies for this week. We'll have to update you on next week's podcast because, again, one game is still currently happening. But let's just say we're not winning more than we're losing as of now. So now it is time for us to make our picks for the next couple of days. We're going to be covering days the 30th, 31st, and the 1st of January. We're going to be covering some pretty important games here and also some games that people will probably miss, like all of the Monday games. So our first Monday game is going to have Western Kentucky against Western Michigan. Both teams are not that great. Western Michigan sitting at 7-5, had a pretty good season this year. They didn't have any victories where I would say, that is a great victory for them this year. I mean, probably their best victory was against Miami of Ohio when they were at home. So that's really not that great of a victory. Not that Western Kentucky has anything to really, write home about either. I mean, they have victories against teams like Arkansas, but Arkansas was terrible this year. They also had a victory against Army, who was just so-so. But other than that, they didn't really beat anybody of importance either. Right now, the spread is in favor of Western Kentucky. They have the edge of 3, from where I see it, in the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl.
We got to give up to our first responders. Yes, we appreciate your service. Thank you.
Yeah.
What you do. We just sit here and talk behind the mic and pick games. You got to save lives.
We do that. So
but we make you rich too.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far as rich just yet, but we're doing okay. We're doing pretty good.
We're getting there, man. We're scraping by it's a heavyweight match, man. That's all this is. Gambling, people.
Well, it is gambling, and in this case, I don't see anything that would let me believe that Western Michigan is going to be a much better team than Western Kentucky, or much worse. I feel like I'll go with Western Kentucky in this one. I think they can maybe win by a touchdown, but really at this point, I mean, I don't know. You know what? Actually, let's go Western Michigan. I don't really know much about either team, but you got to go with the team that might be the underdog, right? I mean, let's see. When you look at the stats of each team offensively, Western Michigan is actually moving the ball down the field. It looks like more.
All right, man.
Yeah, I'm going Western Michigan.
Yeah, come on, man. We have analyzed this game. I'm going Western Michigan too. I love Western Kentucky, but you guys are not a powerhouse to be laying points on people. I like Western Michigan. It's kind of like one of those games. So yeah, +3 underdog, baby. Western Michigan.
All right. Well, next we've got Mississippi State and Louisville. Mississippi State, of course, coming out of the SEC, so they're a pretty good team just because of the fact that I guess they got 6-6 coming out of the SEC. None of their victories, I think, were anything to like write home to mother about. They did beat Ole Miss to end the season to give them the chance of getting into the bowl game. But, they took some tough losses to teams like Auburn and LSU, teams that they were going to lose to most likely anyway. They haven't really had a great year, but I think they should be good enough to cover this. Well, actually, they have a 4-point spread on this. They are favored by 4. Yeah, I guess we got to go with that, right? I just don't think Louisville's going to be good enough for a team that faces teams like Alabama and LSU.
I like Louisville, man.
You like Louisville in this, huh? In the Music City Bowl?
Yeah, I like the fans traveling well from Louisville. It's just a short little drive. I think they'll take over. I believe they'll take over LP Field, not LP Field, Nissan Stadium. And I mean, I like 4.5, dude. I mean, they've battled hard, and I think they can beat Mississippi State.
All right. I don't feel as confident in it, but you know what? We'll take it. We'll go on your judgment on this one. We'll just go with it. I mean, they're 6-6, so it's not like I feel great about it. They've lost quite a few. All right, so next we've got Cal and Illinois in the Red Box Bowl. I didn't know people were still using Red Box, at least not enough for them to
have a they're bowl. Still out there, man.
I know.
7-Elevens,
That's true. I mean, and there are, rural areas in which, people will only watch.
They may not get high-speed internet out there.
That's what I was saying, man, the rural areas. So there's Cal against Illinois. The Fighting Illini, I think that's what they're called, are currently looking at 6 points. Geez, I don't really see any reason to not go with Cal except for the fact that the spread is so large. I mean, they have to win by at least a touchdown. Illinois hasn't been really doing much. I mean, they did beat Michigan State surprisingly somehow, and also they beat Wisconsin somehow. Kept it close against Michigan. All right, you know what? Let's go with Illinois. I think they have at least played teams tight.
I like the underdogs, man. Underdogs have been doing a lot better. I mean, I think that this bowl season, the favorites
I wouldn't go that far. I mean,
favorites they just showing up, man. I'm going Illinois too, baby.
All right.
Cal, I just don't believe in Cal, man. I just don't see them just dominating at a touchdown.
Well, I mean, they're playing in the Red Box Bowl, which is going to be located in Santa Clara. I mean, it's pretty much going to be a home game for Cal. We might want to go with Cal because whenever it's a home team, those home teams basically have been winning. Right?
Yeah.
Like Hawaii won. They had their home game. I mean, let's go Cal. It's a home game. They're not going anywhere.
What, Cal? You want to go Cal in this?
Well, because they're not going anywhere. It's Santa Clara. I mean, that might as well be a home game for them. Dude.
All right, man. Santa Clara it is. Santa Clara it is. Cal, you got it. Oh, you bid it on Louisville? I'm bidding on Cal.
All right, here we go. So there we go. That's compromise.
That's compromise, right. Baby. That's how we get things done here.
All right, we got Florida and Virginia.
I like
in
Florida,
the Capital One Orange Bowl. Really, with that big of a spread?
Dude, Virginia's garbage, man. I think
It can't be that bad.
there's a home game for Florida, man.
All right, we'll go with Florida, man, but I don't know. That seems like quite the spread. What are you looking at, 14.5?
14 and a half.
Dude, that's a big spread. That's a big spread, dude. All right, well, we'll go with it. We'll do it. Florida it is.
All right, man. We got Kentucky being disrespected by a 3-point underdog. 2.
I don't know if they've been disrespected. They haven't been doing a lot, but let's go with Kentucky because they're an SEC squad.
Yeah. They're playing Virginia Tech. Somehow Virginia Tech is favored by 3. But, Southern boys got to keep it in the South.
Well, they're playing in the Belk Bowl, so, the bowl isn't the greatest of bowls, but they're going to try to light it up in the good, where are they playing? North Carolina. And it's closer for Virginia Tech than Kentucky, but we'll see. We'll see. I think the Kentucky people, those Wildcats, they know how to travel. Hell, they do it all the time for basketball. All right, we got Florida State and Arizona State in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Tony the Tiger, you might know him from Frosted Flakes. He is now the spokesman for the Sun Bowl, which will be taking place in hot-ass Texas, El Paso, very close to Arizona and their folks. And I think they're going to get that 4 points plus more against Florida State, who has just been getting worse and worse as the season's progressed.
Yeah. I like Hum Edwards, baby.
I know you do.
I love Hummy, man. You play to win the game. I got to go Arizona State. I just don't know how Florida State got this game.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Next, we've got 23 in the nation Navy, representing the armed forces, coming against Kansas State, team that beat Oklahoma, which doesn't really mean much of anything after they just got destroyed by LSU. So Kansas State basically made us understand that Oklahoma is not as good as they thought they were, but maybe Navy will show Kansas State they're not as good as they think they are. Sitting here looking at a 2.5 on my end, and I think Navy can win by a field goal.
I like Navy, man. We gotta go armed forces here this year. Support your troops.
They're playing in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, so
Air Force dominated. I think that Navy can dominate too.
All right. Now we got a team that beat Tennessee earlier this year in Georgia State, playing Wyoming in the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl. And everybody loves a nice home loan. And, wow, I think this is Wyoming's game, right? Georgia State can't be that good, right? They're still new to being a football team. They're happy to be in a bowl game if we're going to be honest. They've had some pretty tough losses here near the end of the season. I think they're going to lose this one too. They're just going to be happy to be there.
What?
Georgia State. I think they're going to lose. I think Wyoming's going to win that one.
You think Wyoming, man? They got much to do in Wyoming other than they play football. So let's give it to them. I like Wyoming too. Georgia State. You had a good run, man, but you're just going to be happy to be there. That's all.
Next, we've got the Alamo Bowl, where Texas basically is the home team. Utah's coming into Texas to see what's going on down there in Texas. Utah's 7 points favored. Texas, they have not been playing well recently, have they? They did beat Texas Tech. They did lose, though, to Baylor, and they lost to Iowa State.
I like Texas, though, man, for some reason.
Really?
Actually, though, no. My Utah's 11. Let's go Utah, dude.
Utah hasn't lost many games. They did lose to Oregon, but, that's not really that bad of a loss.
This is a backyard game for – this is pretty much a home game for Texas. But
Yeah.
I gotta go Utah on that one, man.
Yeah, I think we should go Utah as well.
That's just number 11. They're not even ranked.
All right. We next have the Citrus Bowl, where Alabama is playing good old Michigan.
At least they're playing on New Year's Day.
I mean, I guess that is something, they could be proud of. I'm thinking Alabama should be able to get the 7 points on Michigan. Their only losses this year were to tough opponents. So I think they still have what it takes. Auburn was a rough one. It's the Iron Bowl, and then lost to LSU was a close one too and a tough one. It was just, it's LSU, man. They were playing down there in LSU and in their country. So, I think we're going to go Alabama in that. I think it just makes more sense.
Alabama doesn't make sense. Michigan's garbage.
Wow.
Like, they ain't going to show up. Harbaugh is there collecting checks. That's all he's doing.
Wow. So, that might be slander. All right. Well, next we've got Auburn and Minnesota, and I don't believe in Auburn at all, Minnesota at all. I believe more in Auburn in the Outback Bowl, so I'm going to go Auburn in this one. But maybe you can make a statement why you think Minnesota is going to keep this close.
I mean, I don't understand how they could. Auburn's Auburn, dude. They're powerhouse SEC, baby. SEC dominates. 7 points seems kind of low to me.
I don't think that's low. I mean, goodness.
That's low, man. I'm going Auburn, though, man.
All right. Well, we'll take Auburn in that as well. All right. We've got another fun game here with Oregon and Wisconsin in the Rose Bowl down here in good old sweet Pasadena, California. This one is given to us, presented by Northwestern Mutual Funds. Gotta love that, the mutuals. So we have Oregon again against Wisconsin, with Wisconsin holding favorite right now. Oregon is expected to lose this game, and I just,
I like Oregon, dude.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, why not? Let's see if the Ducks can quack their way through this one. They beat Utah in a strong game near the end of the season. They did have a rough one against Arizona State, but I mean, they beat most teams that they were supposed to show up to beat. So the spread on this is only 3, and they're supposed to win. So let's see if they can win it. Let's do that one.
I got Oregon too. I like Oregon. Oregon with the weed win.
And then finally, we're going to be in Georgia for the
Georgia. Whoa!
Georgia will be the home team, basically.
Georgia fell hard.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, the Sugar Bowl is in Louisiana. I don't know why I'm thinking it's in Georgia for some reason. That's wrong state. But Georgia, yeah, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, the Peach Bowl.
The Peach Bowl.
Presented by Chick-fil-A.
Presented by Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A got good chicken.
They do have good chicken. But anyway, the Sugar Bowl's got Georgia and Baylor, and I want Baylor to win this, so I'm going to go with Baylor. I just don't know Georgia is going to show up.
They got butthurt, dude. They got butthurt this year. They were supposed to be in the playoffs.
I mean, they got trounced by LSU, dude. They didn't look like they belonged there. They barely beat Texas A&M. They barely beat Auburn. I mean, they're barely beating quality teams. They still win, I guess, is what's important in all of those. But, I mean, the spread is, 5? I mean, maybe Georgia wins by 3, Maybe that's what happens.
I mean, I can see Baylor winning. All right, so.
All right, well, I'm going Baylor myself anyway. So
I go Baylor. That's right, people. And that is the picks up into the first Those all covers all the first games, and then we'll be back betting on again. Hopefully, have more stats. But remember, guys, this is a marathon with bowl season. Bowling is a marathon. You know, I mean, this is going to question everything you had to be a gambler here, people. Go in, go out, get in, get out, man. What are you going to do? You going to walk away like a chump? You're going to win with money mouth. I think we're going to win with money mouth, man.
Hey, put your money on the mouth.
Put your money without this. People get real funny when money gets discussed. You know? It's like, hey, can you do something? Well, put money on it. I don't know, man. Shit. See? Put money where your mouth is. Know your sports knowledge, put your money where your mouth is.
It's true. It's true. Now, speaking of sports knowledge, you can also find us on the Ricky Williams trilogy, where we get to talk sports with the Moose, who was not with us on this last podcast. He's off somewhere in the Northeast, hopefully.
He's MIA right now.
He's MIA, but he might just be in piles of snow.
He's AWOL.
Well, I don't know about that. We don't know. We don't know. But you can check out the Ricky Williams trilogy on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, you can find me on IMDb discussing marijuana and movies. But then, of course, you're listening to Money Mouth, where we can make you that money, all under the blanket.
Make that money. Make that money.
Fumble Rooski Sports. Now, before we head off, is there anything else you'd like to say, Duke?
Hey, playoffs are coming next week. We will be betting on the playoffs. Me and John have a side bet.
We don't have to bet on the playoffs, man. We don't have to do that.
Well, we'll have our side bet, so we'll discuss that with.
All right, fine, whatever. We'll figure something out.
It's our year that we do the. You gotta pick a team, win or lose, man. You know, you gotta support your team. You never know, man.
Well, that's that's craziness.
But we'll do that with the playoffs. If you're crazy enough to bet the NFL playoffs, we got women's basketball. We got anything that can make you money, man. We're willing to bet on.
It's true. It's true. Maybe even lacrosse, but
maybe lacrosse, man. You know,
I doubt that.
Wow. Except Duke.
Oh wow. Ooh, wow. That's a deep cut.
All right. That's a low blow. That's low hanging fruit. I'm sorry. That's like a dick joke, man. I'm sorry.
All right, goodness. Well, either way, folks, go Chiefs.
I'll go Titans, man. For the love of God, go Titans, man.